Good morning, friends and fellow travelers. It's Brandon, and today I'm on a solo adventure in Osceola, Wisconsin. We are going to go visit the Cascade Falls, assuming I can get down there to it. Usually they close the sidewalk, but for this year it looks open. So let me take a look here. Cascade Falls and Falls Bluff Trail Loop. So join me as we head on another winter adventure down the stairs. You can see them all. And down there to the waterfall. Okay, friends, we are back here in Osceola, Wisconsin. It is like right at 0 degrees. So you go down a bunch of steps and there's a 25-foot waterfall down here. The question is, how much of the waterfall can we see? You can see the valley starting to build up around us. Downtown Osceola. I just left my hiking boots in the car, unfortunately, so we'll see how this goes. First look. It's not as cold down here because the wind is kind of limited. We took Winston here, Ash and I, just before Charlotte was born. So we just took Winston and had a good time, but he was going crazy with other dogs. So here we go. Cascade Falls, a 25-foot waterfall here in Osceola. Osceola is right on the border of Minnesota and close to Taylor's Falls that you have seen us visit before. So there it is. That's Cascade Falls in the winter. Of course, they have it very limited. Sliding down the steps, so don't mind me. Is the actual Cascade Falls, my friends. We've come to this falls in the summer and shared that on Instagram before, but we've never shared it with you guys on YouTube. Figured it would be a good opportunity. But there is the water flowing with the ice down to the other side. One of my favorite little spots to visit. About an hour kind of northwest from home. As you can see, the water's kind of melted a little bit. River 0.2 miles, Eagle Bluff Trail. There's a few trails here. That's where we were. We came from all the way up there. So we'll walk over here. Water flowing all the way down there. Now this is a popular spot for people to actually get into the water in the non-winter months. There's the bridge. And the actual Cascade Falls. Winter in Wisconsin, friends. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. Happy to be able to share this location with you. Look at the ice on the ground there. Just a winter wonderland. Usually this whole thing is a waterfall, like I said, a 25-foot falls that goes off in that direction, and there's some trails. But wow, definitely different in winter. The water still moving under the ice. And again, another view of where we just came from. All right, let's continue on down the trail. This is a really cool spot. So this is right by Taylor's Falls, Minnesota. If you go up, if you cross the bridge and you go up a couple miles, Taylor's Falls is the where Interstate Park is, or Interstate State Park, depending on what side of the river you're on, with all the geological rock formations and the Ice Age rock features. We shared that with you in one of our Saint Croix Scenic Byway videos. Ash and I actually got engaged at Taylor's Falls. Well, I should say Saint Croix Falls on the Wisconsin side. We got engaged and we had our first real date there also. So walking next to the actual water now. Very cool spot. Winter Wonderland has truly taken over here. Had to run down the little hill there. Hope you're all having a great week. Again, this is Osceola, Wisconsin. I like that they do have this, you know, similar to a boardwalk the whole way. Now the stairs are slippery because of all the snow, but I'm going to do my best to get as far as I can. You can just see there that thickness of the ice. So a lot of you ask me about in the videos and in my lives. Continuing on. We've got little benches where you can sit. I have 3 pairs of socks on today, so I'm really hoping that that's enough. I'm really layered up. The weather has been just frigid. But the thing is, it's going to get colder. All the way back uphill there to where we are parked. Ash stayed in the car with Charlotte, so we'll make this a pretty quick video. Just because I don't want to leave them hanging out in there too long today. But we had to do some things in New Richmond, so we figured, you know, maybe we'll head up to Osceola. And Ash made the statement that sometimes in the winter they have those stairs blocked off. But not today, because here we are. This is a really cool spot in summer too, because, you know, it's not frigid. And you can walk along over to this bridge that I'm going to show you soon. And it's just a really enjoyable spot. But we've never shown you this over here on YouTube before, so the view during winter is its own masterpiece. You can see the water bubbling over there. Friends, again, Ash and I would like to take a moment to say thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. This journey has just begun for us. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the button, like, comment, subscribe, and share. and join us. This is just the beginning of our journey over here on YouTube and a more photogenic side on Instagram and TikTok. Now back to Osceola. Let's see if we wind up sliding down this boardwalk here. Here we go. The winter wonderland, friends. It is really serene, though. So back up here around the bend is this bridge that I've captured before that goes across the river. And there's a really cool house that, I should say it's a really cool spot for a little house where the water flows across pretty much right next to it, right here. What a cool spot. Winston took a drink out of this little stream once upon a time. But again, a really meaningful place to us because we got engaged right up the river from here and spent a lot of time at Interstate Park. I think we're going to try our hand at some snow skiing, or not snow skiing, sledding before winter ends. So that must be just like a shed house, and then the actual house is up the river, or up the hill, up the river, up the hill there. But here's the bridge that you walk right near. Again, another really cool spot. Trying to be careful as we walk along. Again, the water is so serene in this environment. Flip sliding and trying to figure out which way to go. The curves of the stream, really cool spot. And I wanted to do a little shout out to Sonia, the RV DJ, as she was our first channel of the week that we shared here with the Traveling Whitcombs. We're going to start doing that every Monday now, the channel of the week. So a really cool area. There's some kind of an NPS site over there because I see the NPS sign. Now the Saint Croix Scenic Riverway, of course, goes way back up through this area. Let's walk here under the bridge. I mean, welcome to Wisconsin. So is that Minnesota over there then? Looks like it. Must be Minnesota right there. Eagle Bluff Trail and Scenic View. Cool. But here's the actual river, which, as you guys have seen with our waterways at this time of the year, a lot of the time they are frozen. I hear doves or pigeons. There they are, hanging out. Pigeons hanging out under the bridge there and the metalworks of it. Back down the bridge and the Falls Bluff Trail loop. All right, so a little bit of uphill. We'll see what we have here. At least Ash and the baby are in the warm car. It's frigid out here. -1, I just saw. And I'm happy that we can visit Osceola, but I'm happy that we don't live here, because Friday and Saturday this week, the lows minus 25, minus 26 this weekend. So there's the bridge from a higher perspective. Again, if you're interested, we can always come back and share this with you during the warmer season also to show you what the falls look like. But there's the larger bridge, friends. Now, I do know of stories of young kids back in the day that used to go between Wisconsin and Minnesota late at night with their friends. So that was a kind of a party bridge, if you will. But it looks like you can walk right up and get on the bridge there if you wanted to. I haven't been up this far on this trail, so new little area for me. Squirrel climbing there on the tree. Let's go this way. You could tell people have been snowshoeing. I mean, winter wonderland, right? I haven't actually been on, I think that hill is where I stopped. I haven't been over this section. You can see the rocks up there on the hill. Really cool looking face to this rolling hills in this area. Like a rock face. Winter just makes everything look just so serene, just quiet. A bad word in my profession, but not a bad word out on the trail, right? There we go. Now you can kind of see the rocks more. And then another view out to the river, which is, you know, now kind of blocked off with trees. I'd never really come this way because it was just blocked off with foliage in the summertime, so you couldn't even see where the river was flowing to. But here we are, another bench to sit on, a cool spot. Trail end, respect private property. So there, that must be the Eagle Bluff they're talking about. Up there. End of public trail. So it turns into private property. So this is the scenic view they're talking about. I don't know about that. Like I said, I haven't gone on this particular section of the trail before. But they have huge rocks here, which kind of makes me think this might be the overlook. Looking out the rolling hills in the background, some kind of a dock slash marina over, or not a marina, some kind of a boat ramp, boat launch over there, and the bridge through the trees. Huh. Interesting. Let me start going back this way. I didn't realize the trail ended right there. I mean, friends, I walked almost all the way to the end, I guess, before. So, I don't know. I mean, scenic view, I don't know. In the summer, that view is going to be really obstructed by trees and everything. So, looks pretty right now. Winter, in the snow, the ice on the trees has a way of making everything look pretty, right? See what other trouble we can get into here. I'm gonna head this way back at that spot that we took a right there and just see if there's anything I'm missing. I see a trail post, but I don't know what it necessarily goes to. The bridge is right there, so you can go stand on that. You could walk across it if you want. I mean, a lot of people choose to do that. But here's a trail marker, so we'll see. Maybe this is the way up to Eagle Bluff. Looks strenuous in the snow. Eagle Bluff Trail. Okay, so alright, so we came from that way. Rivertown Trails. Let's go as far as we can. Let's see what we can see here. Snow is thick and powdery in this trail. You can tell it hasn't been walked on much. And I did order some snowshoes. So thank you to some REI gift cards. Those will be coming here in the next week or so. And I'll review those. I can't imagine I'd get any use out of snowshoes in this environment, right? Look at the hill next to us. Now you're getting a better view at that rock face. So does this then lead up to the actual bluff? I'm not sure. I'm just as speculative of this trail as you friends probably are. So yes, Saint Croix National Scenic Riverway. We have done parts of the Saint Croix Scenic Byway, but the Saint Croix National Scenic Riverway is an MPS monitored area. All ice here. So maybe, just maybe, that's going to be it. Because it looks like it continues to go up and up. As much as I want to continue, there's a layer of ice here. You can see it right there. Still a cool angle of the bridge, though. If I gotta slide back down, I gotta slide back down. I've done crazier things. Here we go. Looking back at the bridge. Some rocks here. But you can tell that this is probably the trail at any other point in time through the year. They have kind of these little markers here almost. So the bluff probably somewhere up there. Somebody's jamming out. That sounds like me driving. But wow, really serene out here. The rocks kind of help a little bit. A little higher. It's got to be pretty cool up there to look over the river valley, though. I got to try to get down, though. That's going to be the fun part. So here's the actual trail. But I'm not going to go any further, friends. You can see how high we are off the ground. And I got to try to get back down here. This is going to be the fun part. The fun has just begun for me. And there's the road. It's kind of turned into a little gorge on the side here. But let's start heading back. We'll use the trees here a little bit to balance. Not many people out here at this time of the year walking. And you can see that the rocks on this rock face are very mossy. So even during the summer, probably pretty slick conditions down this way. So again, I'm going to use the trees to help. And the trail, of course, in typical Whitcomb fashion, we did it our own way. But the on-clouds are earning it today. Since, of course, I didn't put the boots on. But we're going to head back down, get back over to the waterfall. And it's just a little quick exploration of this park for you today. You can see the trail goes down right there. So I didn't do it the conventional way, but I'm probably the only person that's walked on here in days. So who's paying attention, right? You didn't hear that. So this is where I walked, right here. And now we're pretty close again to the actual bridge. Again, if I gotta slide, I'm gonna slide. I've slid on my butt before many times to get down. And the trail, here's some rock to help. It's nice when you can kind of see a little bit with the rocky conditions. To retrace my steps here, yeah, maybe that will help. The snow gives you a little traction though. But now we've navigated up and mostly downhill. This is where I said I was going to stop originally because of the ice. All right, now I feel good. Down we go. And we'll look at it on the return trip. There's my footprints. What a steep trail that would be for summer conditions, let alone this winter walk. All right. Snowshoes, are you here? That's cool. Look at the snow on these trees that have fallen. Ash was gonna feed baby Char anyway, so this worked out pretty well. We'll start heading back. Again, friends, if you'd like to see this from a more photogenic side of our adventures, be sure to check out our Instagram and our TikTok. The TikTok is mostly Ash's product now, but the Instagram I need to get back to posting more frequently on. But I post a lot of pictures that you don't see over here on YouTube over there. But we're heading back. I'll share a little bit more with you when we get closer. Friends, it has warmed up to a balmy 9 degrees since we started walking. It's a little warmer down here, though, than it is up near the road. There's that bridge again as we start to head back. But this was a cool experience in the snow. I've never been here in winter. Let's see if we can. Okay. Cascade Falls Trail, 0.3. Eagle Bluff Trail, most difficult, 0.8 miles. Simonstead Trail, 0.6. Nice. So lots of scenic views. The Eagle Bluff Trail is that one I think that you can see from where we were at in the car that goes along the other side. I think that's the one that was closed, but it gives you a different angle of the falls from over there. Now walking right over here by the actual stream. I'm not going to go all the way on it, but let's take a look. Yep. Right under the traffic. Again, I really like the position of this house and this. I guess that's like a in-laws suite or something. But we made it. Heading back. We'll get back to the falls, look at it again, and we'll call it a day. Can't get over the water with the ice. I can't. The journey back has definitely been more challenging because a lot of it has been down with not packed snow because these trails haven't had many visitors, but loose, non-packed snow that's been sitting on these trails for presumably quite a while. So that's made the walking conditions a little bit more challenging. A little drainage pipe there that's frozen completely, that has some water that flows down to the stream. And another kind of a bluff right there. But wow. Pleasantly surprised by this in the winter time. And again, the town right up there. Almost back to the falls now. Friends, I would like to take an opportunity to again, thank you guys all. We're starting to get close to being monetized now, so it's really starting to hit. Like, it's really starting to be this realization. We are just under about 700 hours away, watch hours. So again, thank you all so much for your support on all three of our platforms. Another angle. See the water kind of carving through the ice there? Another cool perspective. Alright. I don't know. I'm still relatively new to living in the north. So, you know, some of these things that I didn't see growing up in Missouri and Indiana and Florida are kind of amusing to me as somebody who didn't see them, because I've never lived in an area like this. These stairs are challenging, but we made it. And then here is the bridge that we walked across with that scenic view and the steps. More water flowing over to that left. All the way back up to where it's almost completely obstructed by ice at the main Cascade Falls. There it is. There's the view once again. And there's a canyon up there, kind of, with the river. And that just doesn't get old. That does not get old. Through the foliage, that angle is just truly stunning to me. It's all what it's about, friends. Taking the time, no matter what. And finding whatever brings you peace and joy. For us, it's simple, but I can't say it enough. Life's tough. Don't make it more complicated. I'm gonna head back up the stairs here in just a second and we'll say goodbye. But there's one last look that way. of the water cascading towards the river, where the ice is on the top layer. So the water here that you're seeing is going to rush under the ice and eventually flow under that frozen layer that is on the river. And we're going to have sub-zero temps for quite a while now, so that ice isn't going anywhere. It's so cold that I have ice crystals formed into my beard here, just to give you perspective of just how cold it is. We're going to head back up the stairs now and go meet with Ash, and we'll bid you farewell. Should we look around one more time? There's no bad angle with that, is there? Minus all the caution tape, I guess. So here's the next beast. And somehow I did this without my boots. Maybe Jim Foster was on to something when he said, is that a theme with the forgetting my hiking boots? The thing I like is that as you're on your way back up, they have these spots where you can sit. I'm not going to elect to do that today with the conditions, but if I was, you know, out of breath or whatever, if I was really struggling, or if I wanted to sit there and take a gander at the falls, that's a great opportunity to do it. This is all ice, so I'm going to hold on to the wood here on the side, as it's kind of a railing. And now we're almost there. I don't know, friends, 100 steps? 75? Maybe 75. But again, you can still clearly see the water pouring out there. And now, getting back up to town, that's what we have left. What do you think? What's your guess for the number of stairs? I'm going to go look it up after this. I totally blanked on that. But this is a pretty touristy town in the summer months, with the Saint Croix River so close. It's such a beautiful spot down there. And here we are. So there is the road that goes to the bridge we were nearly standing on. Right in front of us there. So that's the trail that kind of looks down from another angle. And there's one that goes up by that water tower as well. Maybe we'll come back and look at the valley from that angle next time. I'm only half out of breath. And there's some information about Osceola with a half destroyed sign. Pause if you want to read, but half of it's not even there. One more look. Can't even barely see the waterfall now. All right, friends, back in the car. Here's Ash hanging out. She was trying to go get her hair cut. She said, I didn't think you were going to be back so soon. I guess I did okay then, huh? So I would have done that Eagle Bluff trail if I could have gotten up the hill. I'm not going to lie to you. We got most of the way up that hill, and then I was like, oh, this is all ice. I'm not doing the rest of this. But in the warmer months, let's do it. Let's take that trail. Let's look at the valley and see what we've got. Because I feel like if there is a scenic overlook there, we need to see it, right? But otherwise, I really enjoyed showing you Cascade Falls and showing you the bridge down there. and the couple of trails that we kind of walked along down by the river. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, for your time, for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing our videos. We appreciate each and every single one of you as we continue our journey. The ice crystals are starting to melt out of my beard, so I'm feeling moisture. I feel like my face is soaked. But otherwise, thank you all so much for your support. For Ash, for the kiddos, Charlotte, for Winston, who's at home because we had some errands to run. I'm Brandon. For the Traveling Whitcombs, we'll catch you on the next adventure, because this is just the beginning for us.